I know it's supposed to capture our attention, but I'm not 100% sold on that. If I'm a recruiter, if I'm interested in hiring that person, is that really where I want to be left off? Is that really the right call for action for me?
Lennart, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so first thing that came to mind is Apple product introduction. It's got, the flow of whenever Apple announces new product, we have the animations and everything. It just kind of feels very producty, which is not necessarily, the focus to me isn't necessarily on the portfolio, because once we scroll past this Kariva portfolio piece where it says coming soon and we get into that purple, then everything after really feels like, okay, now, you're going to present an iPhone or something like that, which is like, the animations are beautiful, but the question really is, what's the purpose of this, right? Like at the end, he leaves us with are you ready to get started? So it's like a nice call to action, but like if I'm a recruiter, if I'm interested in hiring that person, is that really where I want to be left off? Is that really the right call for action for me? So that being said, I really liked the project pieces, all the projects. I do have, I think I just broke it because I scrolled back up. And if you scroll, so just try scrolling a little bit too fast through the
we can go back up.
Pieces. It starts doing that Z
that weird
fighting.
Yeah.
Where does that's a JavaScript thing, I think.
Like any other pieces of feedback that you'd throw to Trevor's way, Lennart?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to start drinking very soon because we're definitely checking some of those boxes there. But other than that, one of the things, so aesthetic-wise, I think it looks really beautiful. It's really great. I am personally on the fence of gradients. I know it's kind of hip these days to do a gradient. I don't know if on the Hi, I'm Trevor, if I would do a gradient there, because I would want that to be more of a bold statement. I know he's got the little shadow effect with the font there, but I think it's just too much going on right away with the gradient and the shadow and everything. I know it's supposed to capture our attention, but I'm not 100% sold on that. And the last thing, I do not like it when the resume is separate. I know it's hard to update this stuff. It's easier to update it in a Word document or in a Google Doc and then render it into a PDF. But I personally think it's a little bit lazy if that's not integrated somehow. Even just the basics, right? You can still have a link, download full CV or whatever, but I would at least have, some of the bits of the expertise on the Webflow page and not separate in a PDF. But that's mostly personal preference for me.
Totally. Yeah, I'm 100% with you on the gradient here, because part of the problem is like view projects is the primary button, and the gradient and the color of get results take away from view projects and get results almost looks like it could be interactive, since that color of view projects is the one thing that's interactive. And so I think the color below of like the map and like base in Montana, that's totally fine. Like that doesn't take away from it because it's so muted. But I'm with you on that. I think that if that was just black or a gray of some kind for everything else, and then like the view projects is that is primary, I think that would be much better. Yeah, if you scroll down, Ludovic, one thing I was going to say is, first of all, cheers. There's definitely the word passionate as you scroll down, as he describes who he is. So
I can't even go back up. I wish. Okay, whatever.
I feel like I should take a double drink for that. I promise. When he says a little bit about me, and the next thing is actually 2 more sips for each of us, because
I'm
well, we're past that, because if you scroll down even more to the next one down, for that, the dog one, that is not accessible even at its first. I checked
this one.
That one too. There's actually 2 of them that aren't. The yellow.
Oh, this one too. You mean?
No. The blue. The blue one and the yellow one are both not accessible. And so, like that's something that's super important.
Cheers.
Cheers to both of those.
Okay.
But overall,
what we mean by not accessible is that like the color contrast is not high enough, which means that the foreground color and the background color are just too close to each other in contrast, and so some people won't be able to perceive it. We can see it. I mean, I can see it. I don't know on your end, but I can see it. But a lot of people will have a hard time reading this text.
Yeah. So overall, I think it looks really good. Like I think the layout and the way that he has the visual design on this is clearly solid. There's like some small things to change. Like for example, instead of leading with Silver Paw Dog, which is probably the name of the company, or I would lead with what the project was, and then have like the company be something else that's like, you know, describing this. And then like I like the description and view case study, and each of the mock-ups that he's using to you know, show each case study looks good. I think overall like the transitions between color looks nice. I'm 100% with you on the things below with the kind of product-y feel of like, is this necessary? Like the animation shows that he could be good at that, which is displaying something.
Yeah.
Which is
This thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Is this necessary? Is like my question. Like it
Right.
looks good, but it and it shows that he can make this sort of thing, which is cool. But it's like, is this helping? Hard to say.
Right.
But I'm with you on the
Yeah,
call to
absolutely.
action as well. Like it's not quite clear. It's like, let's get in touch. Is like, I already get started. It feels like you're starting a product versus like, hey, do you want to talk to me about any upcoming projects? Like that feels like a better sign off.
Yeah.
Ludwig, any
Are
last
you
thoughts?
ready to hire me, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Ready to-
Yeah.
Like,
Let's talk first. But yeah, actually, there was something, I don't know if you guys noticed, but see, like there is a hover interaction
I meant to
here
say
for
that.
coming soon, but it leads nowhere. And then on the actual one where there should be a hover, there is none. You know, so I was like, this is too bad that it's just completely inverted. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Lennart, what would you give this on a scale of 1 to 5?
I would say this is, for me, it's somewhat between good and solid. I think first impression was solid, but then I found all these little things, so I'm leaning more towards good. It is a very good piece. On the aesthetic side, definitely solid. In terms of, you know, these functionality issues and just overall planning, I'd say more good. So if we're looking at a really, you know, standout portfolio piece, I would say good. 3 stars.
Nice. Ludwig.
Yeah, I think the thing that bothers me the most is that I can't even go back to the hero section. I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to, and I really want to display it. But yeah, that's for me, like, I almost wanted to give a mate just for that, but just for the sake of being fair. I think it's a good. It's a few things can be done to push it further. The positioning up top, if I could scroll back, could be a little bit improved because it's a bit general. But other than that, I mean, it showcases some know-how, and I can see it pretty quickly. I can understand at a glance what's happening in these projects. Again, I think this is a bit unnecessary, like you guys said. So I think good is fine, yeah, for this.
Yeah, I'm somewhere between a good and a solid. I think, yeah, like for all the reasons you both pointed out, I think the serious usability problem of not being able to go back up to the top is not a good thing. Like, I would thank you for calling out the hover states, Ludwig. That's something that I meant to mention.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, this is so close to being Kickass. It is so close.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a few tweaks that need to be changed. And like, to be honest, this animation could totally change because it does make him stand out. Like, there's things that, like, I don't see this on most portfolios. I just think that like the message it's conveying isn't quite right, and that is more of the problem. It's not necessarily the animation. Like, I would tell him to keep the animation, but just craft something different for it. But like, yeah, I'll give it a 3. But with like very few tweaks, I think it could be a Kickass like real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mostly like the accessibility stuff, the hover states, the usability issues, and like a couple of small tweaks here and there. So great job, Trevor. I do think this is really, really close.